around the community that you need to know about, that just, keep us up to date on what's happening with your neighbors, what's happening with your community, and somebody that's always fun to talk to, and especially when he's just been at my house and visited me and taking care of something, is our district sergeant, wildlife resource officer, Kaleb Stratton. How you doing?
Good morning.
And I guess I should be District Sergeant Kaleb Stratton, not Wildlife Resource Officer. That's
all right. That's all good. It's all the same.
I'm just messing with him. But, this is one of those things. It's so funny because I have talked to you. Why do you call Kaleb? Well, you call him, he is the wildlife officer.
Say, people call me a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But for what, it's just like when we were talking one day and it hit me, you have the same authority as a police officer. But just in things to do with wildlife and all those kinds of things. And I don't think people really get that. They think, well, he's a game warden officer and he's out in the woods and he's like, but no, you can make not a DUI arrest, but
no, we do that too.
Influence.
Yeah.
You can do a DUI
arrest?
Yeah. Really? I thought you could just do it on the boat.
No, we have full law enforcement power just like any police officer.
So that's cool. So if you're driving down the road and you see somebody that's driving erratically, you can pull them over.
Oh, yeah.
And say, wow, I think a lot of people, have you ever had to do that?
Oh, yeah. We've done it. I've been a part of, let's see.
But you yourself driving in your truck.
Oh, yeah.
Pulled over with wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that you could do that. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's cool, though. I mean, if somebody that's been hit by a drunk driver twice, I'm glad you can do that.
Yeah, we've,
okay.
We normally say that, I'm hearing feedback somewhere. I'm hearing a speaker in here somewhere.
I don't know.
I don't know
what's going on. Yeah.
But I've never heard that before.
We'll play around with the levels here, make sure we got it.
But
is that better?
I don't know yet.
Right.
No, I still hear it in here somewhere. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I've never heard it. Anyway, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, that did it.
It's the headphones.
Oh, yours were really loud, huh? No, it's.
There we go. I think we're good.
That took care of it.
Okay.
But we always say a BUI, so a boating under the influence, will always turn into a driving under the influence. So, our goal is to get them off the water before they get to their vehicle.
Right.
But, unfortunately, we're leaving the lake. It's way after dark a lot of times, anywhere between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And, we're trying to get home. We want to get home. And, we have people dang near crash into us. We had one on Briley Parkway the other night that we pulled over, me and a buddy of mine. And
that's wild.
I pulled one over the other day coming up the ridge. She about took me out and just sideswiped me. And it's crazy.
And I mean, that's something, even though you and I have talked about this stuff, that's something that I didn't really realize then, is because, you guys are law enforcement officers. You just have your primary focus is wildlife,
right?
And what goes on in the woods and on the waterways and things like that. But when you're driving your vehicle down the road because that's one thing, I think we all encounter people driving under the influence and we think, I wish I could pull them over.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
where's a cop when you need one?
You're afraid they're going to hurt somebody.
Yeah,
that's the fear. And I've had times that we have followed behind people until we could get law enforcement because we're like, this person is under the influence, they're going to run over somebody, and we would try to, because I don't know if they advise people to do that, but
no, not normally. Yeah. Well, if it's safe to do so.
Yeah. But nonetheless, that's interesting. You just living the dream. You just loving your job.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It can be a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I've been up last 2 days working on a boat accident that happened Saturday that I'm working on Old Hickory, and they were okay, but lots of injuries and just
really.
It's always something. It was a freak.
Can you talk about it?
Oh, yeah.
Because, just to kind of caution people that these are the kinds of things that can happen on the lake.
And these were, the people that this happened to, they've been boating for probably over 60 years. They were, he was in his 80s. And, but just a freak accident where a rope got sucked into the impeller of a jet ski, and the rope was wrapped around another lady's arm. And when the jet ski took off, it took her with her, and lots of hand injuries and broken facial fractures, broken sternum, broken ribs.
Wow. Wow. So this
some
was
severe
their jet ski that was with the boat?
Mm-hmm,
So it was that group.
Yeah.
Good heavens.
But it happens a lot more. Luckily, I think this lady's going to be okay and everything got put back like it should. But we've had them to where ropes wrap around people's feet and legs and, completely sever them, take them straight off.
Jeez.
Just
careful out there.
Just a rope, a rope when it tightens up and it gets real hot all of a sudden. I mean, pops right off. But I'm telling you, you can get in car crashes all day, and they're not near as gruesome most of the time as a boating accident. Really? Boating accidents are very gruesome and hard to work a lot of times. It's hard stuff to do. So
I bet, man, oh man. Well, prayers for you, brother. I'm telling you. I know this is we talk about. Kaleb comes in once a month, and we try to do some law enforcement stuff on the second Monday of the month. Now, Jessica Drake, she's our public information officer with the sheriff's office, and she's out of town today. She would normally be here. So we've got somebody coming in. Norma Dutton's coming in from the library. She's going to be talking about the need for I forget exactly who she's with, but no, we'll give her story in a minute. But she's talking about English second language and teaching that, and that's a passion for me because I did that for a couple of years. But so that's what we've got coming in. That's who we have coming in instead of Jessica today. But normally Jessica would be here. We're trying to get on Chief's schedule, Chief Head's schedule, and it's. That's why I don't contact him early enough.
Good luck. Yeah.
That's the issue, is that I don't reach out to him quite early enough. And so that's been the issue with getting Chief Head in here. But we're going to try to work that out. But that's our goal on the second Monday, is we always talk to Kaleb. Kaleb's, gotten it in his routine to come in here once a month because there's always something.
There is.
This is your favorite season, we know. You love boating season, I say sarcastically. It is not his favorite season at all because you have to work pretty hard.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's very tiring, and we get out there early, and then something inevitably always happens, and we're out there till 2 or 3 in the morning sometimes. And most weekends, it's something normally happens. Knock on wood, but last night wasn't a bad night.
Well, good.
I got home just after dark, so.
Well, that's not too bad. So, how's your summer going? Kids having fun?
Oh yeah, everybody's doing stuff, and
and we're getting very, very close to.
I was going to ask when school goes back. I don't even know.
Well, teachers go back. We go back we go back 3 weeks from today. Because a week from today, I will be in Mexico. Prayers for our Mexico mission trip. Lee Marie will be taking the helm here at the radio station. And then that following Monday, I have my second knee replacement, and then we go back to school the next week. So that would be 1 week from today, 2 weeks. So 3 weeks from today, teachers go back. And then we have the following Tuesday, which would be the 6th of August, a half day with the students. I think that's the schedule. Your kids are in elementary, so it might be a little different. But then we have a full day with the students in that Wednesday, is my understanding. So, but yeah, I'm ready to get back. I'm that teacher that's still new enough. I'm like, come on, let's get ready to the classroom. Well, I've got so much I need to do at the classroom.
I was going to say.
If you walk in my classroom right now, there's all kinds of stuff everywhere because I've got some work I got to do when I get in there. But yeah, we're ready. Are your kids ready to go back? What grades are they going into?
Let's see. Well, Caden, he just turned 8, so he'll be going into the 3rd grade.
Okay.
And Keelan's still young, so he's not. He's just at Grace at their daycare. Yeah, preschool.
Preschool, I love it, but it's a good time, and I'm ready to get back into the schools. And I can't say enough about how that we are just really excited to have your kids back and all those things, and so very good. But how much longer boating season, I guess, runs through Labor Day?
Well, so
basically officially.
Yeah, historically, boating season is Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Okay.
But with that being said, there's been a huge push for boating in the past few years since 2020, and unfortunately, it feels like boating is becoming just a year-round thing, and it really is. I mean,
but you can't get away from it.
Obviously, people are boating year-round because you got fishermen and then duck hunters. A lot of people don't think of that. Boating for duck hunters is huge because duck hunters use their boats. So,
I wouldn't think about that.
We have.
Interesting.
For some reason, bass fishermen, when they have these tournaments, they all want to go 110 miles an hour to get to their spots, and we normally have a few crashes each year. We got to work with bass fishermen and duck hunters, same thing. Just everybody's racing at dark to get to where they're going, and it just doesn't turn out very good sometimes.
That is crazy.
But
so when is duck season then? When does that happen?
Oh, it won't be till during like December, January.
Okay. So as far as we're officially. Boat season, the biggest part of it's going to end around Labor Day. So, but what's the next hunting season for us?
So then I was just looking at my calendar. So I think I'll be back in here like August 19th, and I believe that following weekend is our velvet hunt that we've had the last few years. So I'd have to double check, but that velvet hunt's normally towards the end of August, like the 4th, 25th, 26th, something like that.
Okay.
So we'll have that velvet hunt, the deer hunt. So I said it's already almost deer season. A month away is deer season.
Isn't that great?
No, it's too hot.
It's too hot for the velvet season.
That's what I tell people. It's way too hot to be hunting deer.
And you say that it's not pleasant because of the ticks and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, the deer are still just very nasty looking. They're beautiful creatures, but you got to think they live outside.
That's fun.
Aesthetically looking at them, and there's nothing wrong with them. We all, I say we, I know you haven't a lot, but most people have grown up to, just the farm eggs come to mind. Like, I can't, not me. I mean, I do. Some of my friends have them, so I get them. But, most people can't fathom leaving an egg sitting out on the counter, or something like that. And the store-bought ones, I guess you're not supposed to. But just aesthetically, it's probably not good, but it is fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, and it's the things that, like you said, I grew up with chickens and farm eggs and all that kind of thing. And you get them now, and they're covered with,
Yeah, they paint them.
Yeah. Well, but you talking about they have chicken manure on them.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, and they're like, oh, that's fine. Just wash them. And
oh, yeah, the farm ones, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I grew up with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I should be acclimated.
But yeah, just as, our nature, aesthetically, we just can't stand stuff.
But anyway.
I'm guilty of that. If something's on the expiration date tomorrow, I'm not eating it today. I just can't do it.
Are you serious?
I can't do it.
Best Buy date?
Yeah, no. Most times I can't. I just can't do it.
Oh my goodness! You couldn't work in like a benevolence, working in the benevolence center at the church because I'm talking about Eve.
I had a couple of bad experiences one time when I just can't do it.
That's hysterical. Because I was talking about the English language. I worked with a lot of Egyptian people. I talk a lot about the Egyptian community I've worked with, and so when they would first immigrate, we would help them with food and things like that because they're immigrating on their own. They don't get any kind of benefits. I mean, they're very, very big struggle for them. And so we would get them food from the church. And one day they said, can you give me some food that is not old? And I said, here's the way it works from second, because we get our stuff from Second Harvest and all that. And I had to explain to them, Best Buy dates are not expiration dates.
Right.
And then you have meat that comes to the house frozen, and it's maybe dated 2 months ago, but you trust that it was frozen.
Trust.
Well, what you do is when you thaw it. Okay, let me just say, if you thaw it and it has any kind of a sour smell, throw it away. But if you thaw it and it smells fresh, you're fine because they froze it. That's and the health department makes sure that they do that.
Oh yeah.
You either use or freeze by this date, and that's what makes it okay to use this stuff from Second Harvest. And I mean, the churches, man, we're handing that stuff out. Like that's how we feed, people in low incomes because I mean
I used to work a side job in Nashville at a place that housed people like that, and the Egyptian people that lived there were always the nicest people in the world.
They're incredible.
And they would feed me, and I didn't eat some. I would act like I did, but I couldn't do it. Some of the food they would cook. Well, I'm sure it was good, but I was like, I just couldn't do it.
and they eat mostly with their hands. And
yeah.
and it's like they'll give you a plate, and it's like, where's a fork? Your hands. You're fine. You're good. It's funny. But we're talking with Kaleb Stratton. He is our Wildlife Resource District Sergeant, and he is in the throes of boating season right now, and there's so much going on. But again, we have the velvet hunt coming up in August, and then how soon after that will deer season start?
So it'll go from that to dove season.
Oh, okay.
And actually right now there's, believe it or not, raccoon season is going on. So it's almost year round. I don't know why anybody want to be out there. Even at night right now, it's so dang hot. But coon season is going on. And then you got, like I said, the velvet hunt. September 1st is dove season, which I believe is on a Sunday this year. So Sunday and then Labor Day, the following Monday is always a big dove hunting day. And then bow season for deer will open, I believe it's like the 28th or something like that, whatever that Saturday is.
Okay. So what do you think, and let me do a break and then we're going to talk about why you would call him. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our experiences, if it's okay. Mm-hmm. And, but we have this is the reason why he is in the office that he is in, because if you have land, sometimes people are out there that aren't supposed to be out there. And at odd hours. So anyway, we'll talk about that in just a minute. But let me go ahead and pause and let's talk about one of our sponsors. Let's talk about Cumberland Connect. I've been talking a lot about trying to get an extender to extend my signal. We're going to be working on that this week. I'm getting ready to call them. because my son, who is smarter than me, says he does not. We were talking about digging a line and putting a hard line to the barn so we would have the extended services out there. He wants us to try it through what they call a mesh system, where you put it to one point, then you bounce it to the next point. So we're going to talk to them about that. And I'll let you know how that goes, because number one, when I call them and have questions, I say, well, here's what you guys have told me would be the best way. Well, my son doesn't want to help us dig a trench. He doesn't want to do all that. He doesn't think it's necessary. Can we do it this other way? They're like, sure, we can try that. And they're just so good to work with. So we're going to try something that, my son is wanting us to try that may not work. And then we may have to, step back and go and put a hard line. But that's the kind of thing you can do when you have a local customer service that can work with you and find the best solution to your internet services. Right now, we have a gig in our house, but we have all these outbuildings that we use. We have a building that was a dairy barn. It's actually an office building. And so we're trying to get the signal to that building. What's the best way to do that? And hardline would be just done and one and done. Again, I can't get my guys to dig the trench to do it. And so they're like, well, can we not just bounce it? And so we're going to try some other solutions to see if that works. And I'll let you know how it goes. But the big thing is they're so customer friendly. Wonderful to work with. You can get these extenders for just, it's like $5-10 a month more to get an extender to send it out to your outbuildings, or, to cover the area that you're wanting to have internet services in. But they're just so wonderful to work with. They've got price packages starting at $30 per month in a affordable connectivity program. If you're a qualifying household, you could get $30 credit per month to help pay for broadband services. Again, they've got systems starting at just $30 per month. So you could get broadband services for your family for free. It's a necessity. It's a utility now. It has replaced our phone lines, but don't worry. If you would like to have a hardline phone line, they can do that for you as well. It's all facilitated through Cumberland Electric. If you're a Cumberland Electric customer, you are going to have access to Cumberland Connect. I have a gig. It's $80. They've got all kinds of price packages. Just go to cumberlandconnect.org and check it out and see all the different options you have. If you'd like to just talk to somebody, you can call them at 800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362, and they'll explain it all to you. And you need to put in your address and say, okay, are you here? If you're a Cumberland Electric customer, you're going to have access. You may not just yet, because they're working to get everybody in their customer base connected. Pretty much got Robertson County. Still working on Sumner and some of the other areas, but it's not going to be long until everybody's going to have a Cumberland Connect option. And when you get in touch with them, please always let them know that you
the phone line and everything. You got the gig, the phone line. I did run a hard line to my shop, though, to do that.
You did the trench? Okay, for the extender, and it's just wonderful, isn't it?
Well, I haven't got the extender yet. I've got to call them and get one.
Okay.
I had one that I bought aftermarket, like I got on Amazon, and it screwed my system up, so I had to undo it. It was weird.
Well, I'm going to have them. There is because I called them the other day, and there's a mesh system you can take, and you basically.
We've got one upstairs because we had to do
so
that.
I'm going to do that and see if I can't bounce it, because my son's like, you can do this. I'm like, okay, but I don't know why we just don't do the trench. But
a buddy of mine, he's got the same issue you do, and he bounces his from his house, and his shop's a lot further than yours is, and it works fine. Oh, yeah.
Okay, there you go. So, because my kids are all like, we don't need to put another line in the ground, Mother. And so, I don't know why they really care. They're never there. They only come see me once a month.
They still got to have internet, though.
There you go. I'm just messing. But talking with Kaleb Stratton, he is our Wildlife Resource District Sergeant. Who is our Wildlife Resource Officer? Jason.
Jason Shapton, yeah. He's
been in, twice?
A couple times now, yeah. A few times now, yeah.
And so we enjoy visiting him as well. But so what else have you got on your mind that we need to cover? Well, I was going to say about our situation. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, I'm getting ready to go on a mission trip to Mexico, so I'm in my head, I'm packing my bag and getting everything organized and all that kind of stuff. So we have a situation. Now we have not seen them in the last week, but over the last 6 months, we keep seeing somebody we own the 2 hillsides that our house faces. And we'll be sitting out in the yard, be like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and we'll see somebody over there with flashlights. So our question, I've asked you, we've talked about this. I said, okay, what are they doing over there? Because we let people come and fish. If you want to come and fish on our property anytime, you just make yourself at home. Just don't block the driveway. That's one thing we're having problems with right now. Some of the kids are coming down and they're blocking that rock drive that Mark put in, that he comes out and excavates gravel. And so don't block the road, but go fish, enjoy it. But we don't want you hunting because we invite our students to come down there, a lot of relatives and friends that come down there, and we don't want people up there shooting and doing all that with people everywhere sometimes. So we don't want any hunting going on unless it's our kids, and that's one thing. But so, 8, 9 o'clock at night, we'll see these flashlights over in the woods, and we think, what are they doing? Number one, we think, are they doing something nefarious? Do they have something growing over there? Because it's a steep bank.
It's very steep. Yeah.
We climbed it.
Yeah, it's steep.
And so, that was our first question. And then we thought, well, are they trapping? What are they doing? What do you think they're doing over there? Because y'all went and investigated and didn't find anything. Didn't find any traps. So what do you think they're doing?
Didn't see anything crazy, so just... we assume they may be coon hunting or something. Yeah. There's, like you said, there's hills, and so there's ridges, and it looks like whoever it is just walking those ridges.
Just walking the ridges. And if they're just hiking, that's okay, but don't be doing that. That's like our front yard, y'all. And so if you're out there at 9 o'clock at night with flashlights and stuff, and we're out there, we see ya.
Yeah.
And my husband will whistle at them, and it's like, hey, because it upsets our animals.
Yeah.
And two, now that we know they're not growing something nefarious over there,
right.
We feel a little better about it. But we were a little concerned, because we know that's a tough terrain, and we know that's how people do that sometimes to hide it.
Right.
And so we thought, well, so you guys, who did you bring with you the other day?
Well, that's what I was going to mention too. So just more busy. So that's our guys that we hired this past year graduated the police or our right. training academy. Mm-hmm. It was a 22-week program, and so they graduated in June, and their first day of work was July 4th. And so that guy, his name is Jacob, and he's from Robertson County, but he's the new Cannon County wildlife officer down in Cannon County. So since he lives here, I'm training him right now. He's actually doing some training out of the county today, but
that's who you had with you.
Right, yeah. So he's with me just about every day that I work. He's working, so he's my shadow.
Okay, very good. So that's a training thing.
Yeah.
I was tickled to see you guys.
Yeah, he was, like I said, brand new and learning a lot, and he's learned everything in the academy. Now he's got to show that he can do it in the real world.
I gotcha. But so how did y'all access that? Did y'all just wade across the creek and go right up?
We just walked across the creek and headed straight up.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a steep climb, y'all.
It was steep. Yeah, I was grabbing little trees trying to pull myself up.
Yeah. It's pretty over there, though. I love it.
You just zigzag back and forth as much as you can. It doesn't make it as steep. But.
Yeah, I got you. I hadn't thought about that. But that's the kind of thing that they do, guys. You can, when you have concerns like that, you can call and say, hey, we've got something going on. We don't really know what's going on. And what's really cool, because you're local, you know the people that have the property at the top of the hill.
Right, yeah.
And so you were able to call them and say, hey, are your kids? And he's like, no, my kids aren't there.
Yeah.
And so we were able to kind of compare notes and all of that kind of thing. And I've got a real estate question for you, too. Do you know if that land up there has any road frontage? Do you think he'd want to sell some road frontage to my kiddos up there on that land?
On that particular land, it is off of New Chapel. Mm. Yeah, it's all road frontage over there. I think there was different roads over there, but Hood's Branch, I think, was one.
I've got a kiddo that's wanting to build a
deal,
but we're trying to get some road frontage up there.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
It's not going to be an easy task, but I was like, well, since you know somebody's got some land up there, and it's just a field, so.
Well, they live out there.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, their house is there.
Okay.
Their house is at the front of the property, and then there's a bunch behind it. So.
Okay. Now I understand. Okay. I didn't really, because I'm not up there. I don't know. I guess I need to just go walk around up there and see. But nonetheless, Kaleb Stratton's here, and he knows the county. That's the thing. That's what we're talking about here. And that's really nice to have that. But now Jason, where's he from?
He's originally from Putnam County, I believe. Or he may be, he's not listening, I'm sure, but he's not a morning person. I think he's originally maybe from Michigan, like maybe born there, but he grew up, I think, in Putnam County.
Okay.
And worked for the Putnam County Sheriff's Office for a while, and then finally moved here.
Well, it's really cool though, because we have folks that know this community, and you being being officed out of here and being our district sergeant, if they have questions about this area.
Oh yeah, people still call me every day, and like I said, it's just Jason and I both work the county. It's just he's the officer and I'm a supervisor now, but we still both work it just like anything. I handle calls all I can and just do a little bit of everything. But you talked about just what people call us for. People will call us for anything. I've had older people call and say, hey, there's a tree down on my farm. Can you come help me? I'm like, well, that's not what we do, but I don't mind coming to help you if you need it,
Yeah.
we get a lot of people wanting us to come and trap animals, you know, and we don't do that. We just don't have the manpower or the time to do it.
Like if one's being a nuisance, if they're like, I got a skunk out here, I'm going to need somebody to trap it.
You know, now if somebody, in certain circumstances, you know, I will try to help as much as I can, or at least loan them a trap or get them what they need. But we are the law enforcement agency that oversees the trapping people. There's people out there that have a business,
right?
And that's one reason we're really not allowed to do it, because that would be taking business from them. You know, the government taking business from a small business isn't a good thing. So you know, we have to push most of that stuff out to these wildlife damage people, we call them.
What makes trapping profitable? I mean, what would be...
People have a business that do it. I mean, yeah.
What you mean as far as trapping to...
Like, let's say you have squirrels in your attic and you want to get them out, and you'll pay these companies to come out and trap the squirrels, and they'll relocate them.
Because on our road, the Taylors that live up there, they've got 4 boys, and a couple of their boys have worked for one of the trapping companies. I see what you mean. I was thinking, like, if they trapped... you know, raccoons for the tails or whatever.
Oh, no. I mean, there's no money in that anymore.
Yeah, there used to be. We don't make coonskin caps anymore, unless it's a novelty at the, you know, at the tourist trap.
I forget where it was, but there was a huge flooding of the market with furs a couple years ago. A certain species, they killed them all off, like in England or something. I don't know. It was weird. One trapper was telling me about it. A big trapper here in the county that I use a lot, and he was telling me about it, and he's like, their furs are just nothing now. You can't get, I mean, people will still trap, and they'll keep them, and they'll just freeze them, and they'll keep them until the money goes up, but it's just not enough money in it to do it.
You just gotta freeze them. Interesting.
Hopefully it stays, you know.
That is fascinating. I mean, there's all kinds of wonderful things. There's so much interesting information out there through the Wildlife Resource Office. How can people get in touch with you? Y'all got a website. You want to direct people to the proper place to find out what you do?
You know, with Google nowadays, you just got to Google TWRA and it'll pop up. But tnwildlife.org will take you to our website, just tnwildlife.org. That'll take you to our state website. Obviously, we're on... Yes, Lawrence, you're right. He said they charge $400 to $500 to trap skunks. It depends on the company, but sometimes they do. We have a couple. We're not allowed to give out
to promote
one over the other, but I will say there's a couple of local ones here in Robertson County that do not charge that much, and they're very reasonable and good people. You know, that they're not out there to.
So if you do have an animal issue, you can call them, but they can't take care of it. So.
Yeah.
But you do. Paul Rainey is putting up here $400 to $500. Is that what you were looking at?
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Okay, $400 to trap skunks. I know Paul has trapped quite a few things in his backyard and removed them to safe haven. And I think they just come back, Paul. I really do.
Hey, skunks. $400 or $500 is not enough for skunks for me. I'm not.
I'm not touching them. I can't remember what they've trapped raccoons and just all kinds of stuff in their yard. And maybe skunks. I can't remember if Paul's trapped skunks or not. We had one of my boys, Jedediah. He's the wildlife guy. He's the one that boats and everything. And he was at football camp one year, and unknown to his coaches, took an animal trap with him, because apparently where they have football camp is up near Old Hickory Lake and all that, and they had a lot of raccoons, and he kept trapping raccoons. And it was like, I get a phone call, can you please tell Jedediah to stop trapping raccoons? He's gonna get bit. So I'm like, I can't do nothing with him.
Hey,
do take care of him.
We had an officer get bit the other day by one. He's having to go through the whole rabies thing right now. So
yes,
it's no fun.
All right, so I think that is it right now, but anything that we're missing that we need to cover?
I don't think so. Like I said, just, you know, be safe out there on the water if you're out there. It's, you know, I get an earful. Every time I work the Red River, people are yelling and cussing at me because they don't know the laws, and they're like, well, you should put signs up that have all the laws. And I'm like, we don't have enough room for all the laws in Tennessee on the rivers to post them.
And you got to be licensed, and anything right off the top of your head, what is the most important thing, would you say?
Life jackets.
Life jackets for ages. If you're on the
everybody has to have one in the vessel. So if you're in a kayak, you have to have a life jacket in there. If you're 12 and under, you have to be wearing it while you're floating. While you're on the water, you got to be wearing it, 12 and under. But everybody has to have a life jacket. And it surprises me every time that I'm on the Red River and people have lived here their whole life, and I floated this my whole life, and I never knew that. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. You know, ignorance isn't an excuse, so
be nice to this guy. Be nice to all these guys out there.
I give everybody a way out. Like, it's not a money thing. People are like, you're just trying to make money. I'm like, I don't make any money off this. and we always give a way for people to get out of the ticket. So if you do receive a life jacket ticket in Robertson County, we've got it worked out with the judge and the DA to where if you take the boater safety class and show some initiative that you're going to take that class, and you do take that class, then they'll dismiss that charge.
Okay. So, all right. See, there you go, guys.
So we try to give everybody a way out, but still people get pretty upset.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But it's better than paying a $200-something ticket. So
there you go. All right. Thank you, Kaleb.
All right,
Kaleb
we'll see you later.
Wildlife Resource District Sergeant. Appreciate you. You have a good, and I'll talk to you in August. All right. We're going to let him make the transition, and we've got Norma coming in here, and we're going to be talking about, looks like we got a couple of folks out there. Y'all come on in. I'm going to do an ad while y'all come in and get comfortable, but we're going to talk about my friends Barry and Rebecca Richards. Come on in and sit down. Are y'all together, I'm guessing? Okay, come on in and sit down. I'm going to do my ad real quick, and we're going to talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty. And I was just talking to Kaleb about got kids that are wanting to build on our land. Well, there's a nice place right by my house they could build, but they kind of want a little more privacy. They want to build at the top of the hill. And we've got a couple of spots at the top of the hill that we could build on. We have no road access. We have no, there's just no way to get to it. So the only way they're going to be able to get to it is to watch property at the top of the hill and say, okay, can we get some road access? Maybe if there's a house up there that sells. That's the kind of thing that I can mention to Barry and Rebecca, and they're keeping an eye on that for us. And if one of those properties sells that would give us access to our property at the top of the hill, then we're going to hear about it. And that might be an option for them. But those are the kinds of things that you talk to a realtor about whenever you're wanting to do something different. Maybe you're wanting to downsize if you're older. And Rebecca is one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. She specializes in helping folks be able to do that, to take in, maybe you've got a farm and you're like, okay, none of my kids are farming. They don't need the land. I want to downsize. I want to go live in a condo somewhere so I don't have as much maintenance to do. She can help you with all that and help you understand the nuances of it. I talk a lot about that they specialize in Robertson County properties, but also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky because they've got a very diverse background. They're cross-Plainians, been there for nearly 30 years, so they specialize in Robertson County and the surrounding areas, but they're from Kentucky like me. So they understand what's going on in Kentucky. They understand they have a state income tax, and they understand the implications of all of those things. Barry is the broker here in Springfield. Rebecca's an agent up in White House. They combine those two offices to bring you a new branch in the Exit Prime tree. So Exit Prime Realty is the new branch in the Exit tree. So same great team. They've just brought together a new office. All the great background that they have, him being a marketer, you can't believe what having a marketer on your team when you're trying to sell property. It's a game changer, guys. Get in touch with them today. Give Rebecca a call. You can Google them, Barry Richards, Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, or you can just give her a call, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, or go to sellwithbecky.com, and you can find out more as well. Barry, Rebecca Richards, tell them you turned sent you. About my passion for English second language. Absolutely love this. And this is something I did for a couple of years. Some of the just best people I've ever met are newcomers to this country, and it's just wonderful. And of course, my experience has been in the Egyptian community primarily. I've done a lot from a lot of Hispanic, Latin America folks as well. And then I had the great privilege of working with a guy from Nigeria who had spent like 20 years in a refugee camp, and Solomon, and they live in Nashville, and it's just amazing. Just some of the relationships, just incredible. Would that be a great way to describe your experiences whenever you work with English second language?
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
I mean, truly. So, which one of you is Laura? I forget. Laura Dutton?
Norma Dutton.
I'm so sorry. Here.
And then Miss Phyllis.
Okay.
Phyllis Cobb.
Okay. Have I met y'all? Have y'all been in?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I have been in once, and it was with Miss Lee Marie.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
I
yeah,
couldn't remember,
yeah.
and I apologize. I'm sitting
You're
here.
okay.
Okay. So yes, I've got your name correct in the headline here, Norma Dutton. I don't know why I've got Laura in my head, but so where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
Oh, cool!
Yeah.
I love your accent.
Hello, thank you.
That's what, when you work with English second language, you get to talk to fun people that have fun accents, and it's just so much. It's just neat. It's just neat. I just love it so much. Now, and what is your name?
I am Phyllis Cobb.
Okay, now I want you to pull that microphone a little bit closer to you there. Yeah, there you go.
I am Phyllis Cobb.
Very nice to meet you. And how long have both of you been working with English? Like we say, I always said ESL. And then when I got involved in the school system, it's English language learner. And there's really the English language learner is what we do within the school system. English second languages is a lot of the churches still say ESL. What's the difference? Does it matter? You know?
ESL, if you're learning English as a second language, then that's your second language.
Right.
English language learners, you may know 3 other languages.
Okay.
And this would be just another language to you. So it just seemed better to say English language learners.
Okay, I got you, because that's one thing. One of the little Egyptian girls that I worked with, I remember when she first arrived, she spoke only Arabic, little tiny thing. And I lost track of with them. And I mean, about a year and a half later, I come back across them. And this child is not only still speaking Arabic fluently, of course, she's also speaking fluent English and Spanish. She just has a knack for it. I mean, it's a little big, tiny little kid, and becomes the interpreter for her family. She's brilliant. And I'm just like, wow. I've got a friend from Ukraine. I think she speaks like 4 languages. Wow. It's incredible. I mean, I don't know what we've done in America. Man, we've got to do better with our language. And I speak English. That's it. And I'm talking to myself. But I mean, your other countries, they speak multiple languages. Yes. This idea of only knowing one language is not. The more you can learn, the more languages you can learn, the better. And I keep thinking I'm going to dig in and at least learn Spanish, come on. But I'm getting ready to go to Mexico Saturday for a mission trip, and I don't speak any. Well, I've been going, this is about my 10th trip in, but I have wonderful interpreters and wonderful friends that go with me.
That's good.
That help me. But we just absolutely love it. So where do you facilitate this out of? You need volunteers. Talk to me about this. I know it's Springfield Baptist, right? So talk to me about why are you here? What do you want to talk to people about today?
The need for teachers.
Okay.
And the need for subs. If you can't teach full time, then maybe you could help us in subbing.
Okay.
You do not have to have a teaching background to be a teacher. I've taught, this will be my 25th year.
That's fabulous.
And I was a surgical scheduler for a orthopedic surgeon. I had no background in teaching. So it's very easy using our curriculum to teach. So we don't want anybody to think that, I can't do that because I'm not a teacher. Yes, you can. And of course, all of our teachers are volunteer, which means no money comes across the table. But when that student leaves out of the classroom that day and says, thank you, that's your payment. And much more than monetary.
Yeah, like I said, the experiences with the people that I have met, I still some of my closest friends are people from Egypt, or I've lost track with Solomon. I guess because of the persecution in Nigeria and all of that, I'm so mindful of their family, because that young man, his family was killed. Him and his brother were put into a refugee camp. He lived there for 20 years.
Wow.
20 years he lived there, met his wife, had 4 children there. They've only had 1 child that's been born here in the States. And they own a home now. But I'll never forget, he walked into the church when I was working as a church full time and said, I hear somebody here will help me with English. And we sat down, and I worked with him for several. He was just such a blessing. So it's been about 3 years ago, whenever I guess, time frame, because I just remember such amazing people, because it was right before my sister passed away with cancer. And one of her last weekends, they were having this big fasting and praying thing over the weekend. And they fasted and prayed for my sister. That church did. And I'm like, they're incredible people. I have just some of the best people I have met are newcomers to this country, because they bring in that passion for freedom that you have no idea what some of these people deal with. Some of these Hispanic kids that we have in our classrooms, the stories they tell. We have some that are they're here maybe living with a extended family, and their families back home, and they have really, they don't really know what's going on with them. It's breathtaking. breathtaking, the stories you hear.
Yeah, God is good, and He works in different ways.
Yes, He does.
Sometimes you think you're like helping somebody, and then you're doing this thing for somebody, and sometimes you're the one that gets the help.
That's the thing.
Sometimes they just like bring to you something that you're like, how this happened?
Yes, yes.
This is bringing me joy. This is bringing me like something else. I was thinking I was helping somebody, giving somebody something in exchange of that you receive something.
You're the one getting it.
So
I love that.
It's a blessing.
It is.
And then all the time, like every week after week with the classes, we just appreciate everyone that comes in, and then we try to help them the best that we can, and teaching them English, but also this is a big opportunity to share Jesus with them, because many of them come in and they don't even go to church. They have not heard about, Jesus, or have heard, but maybe not really have a relationship with them. So we have the classes, and in the middle of the classes, we have a devotional, 15-minute devotional, and then, just have time with them, share with them, get to know them, you know. So
I love it. I just have so many fun stories from my time. And I'm going to do this with you guys. I can't do it right this second, but I'm going to come in and help y'all with this, because this is something I care so much about. And it's right here. I don't have to drive to Nashville. That was one of the hardest things. Is my husband and I were driving to Nashville a couple of nights a week, because we were teaching. When we were working with the Egyptian community, there was a little room above one of the Egyptian stores, one of the Gold Star markets, that we were using over at Briley Parkway and Thompson Lane area, right in there. Not Briley Parkway and Tusculum, right? There was a little complex they'd all moved to right there, and so it was the store right next to the complex, and we'd have classes upstairs. And so we had to drive. This is right here in our community. This is at Springfield Baptist. When do y'all facilitate these classes? When do you meet? We
meet on Thursdays. Okay. We follow the school calendar.
Okay.
And in the morning times, we're there from 9 o'clock until 11. This is class time. And at night, we're there from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So if we have a lot of students that work a lot of different schedules.
Sure.
So we felt like daytime and nighttime can hit both of them.
Yeah.
So,
well, we did our classes at night, because you figure they're all working like crazy trying to get ahead, and so to try to get them, it's convenient for them. So Thursday nights or do you meet every Thursday night?
Every Thursday morning and every Thursday night.
Okay. Yes. I love it. And here's the big thing. People think, well, I can't speak anything. Honestly, a lot of the people, when I first got trained to do English second language, or when I first, the program we first did, they almost said it's better if you don't speak the language, because it forces you to communicate. And that's something people don't think about when they're looking at trying to help somebody with another language. If you don't have an interpreter there, you don't have something to fall back on. Would that be a fair statement?
Right.
Yes, it is. It is kind of weird, like you always think you need an interpreter. Well, I had to learn English,
Yeah.
So I know from experience, like you get your ear, used to the language. The more you hear it, it's just kind of weird. You get to understand better and better. And then, I just told them, I'm like, you can do this. You don't get discouraged. Sometimes they get discouraged because they don't learn it as fast. But like, you need to listen to the radio. You need to listen to music. You need to listen people speaking to you. You need to try it. Don't get embarrassed. Like, I'm not gonna say it right. You just practice. Practice. And then you will get it. It is very weird, but the more you listen to it and pronounce and say it, try to say the words, the more the easier it will get to you.
Has the availability of Google Translate hurt people in learning to speak, because they're like, well, I can just use Google Translate? Has that hurt the initiative? Maybe. I think
so. We talked last year about some of our students weren't real consistent in coming, and they kind of dropped out, and I think we have made it easy for them to do that with Google Translate, with translators in the school. with all their markets, with everything in Spanish for them, and probably 99% of our students last year were Hispanic. We did have some family from Haiti, but most of them were Hispanic. We've had a lot of different countries through the years, but I think we have made it easy for them. And some of them think, "Oh, I don't need to learn. I can read that in Spanish. They'll have it for me."
Mm-hmm.
So
and you just, it holds you back. And I'll
Right.
tell you now, one of the big things too that I push with because I'm a high school teacher. And so I have kiddos that come in my classroom that are newcomers and they don't speak hardly any English, maybe a few words. We have wonderful people that help us. We have our ELL teachers within the district that just help us so much. But as they start speaking English, I really get on them to keep their Spanish, because what's really funny is when we'll have a Hispanic student that at home everybody speaks Spanish and then they come and flunk Spanish because they only know English. It's like, no, don't do that. Because I tell them, I said, you've got to maintain your family's first language, because how are you going to communicate with your family if you don't? And so many, and I really, they say, well, at home, my parents, I've had some, especially in the Egyptian community, they'll come in and it's very much like the immigration of our nation early on. It's like, I'm going to speak English. That's how we're going to speak in our household and all that. And they forget their home language. Well, back then you didn't return home and you didn't maybe see your relatives. Now, because of your phones and your FaceTime, they're talking back and forth with family. And so I always tell my students, I say, make sure your kids know Arabic, make sure they know Spanish, because how are they going to talk to grandma and grandpa or aunts and uncles back home if they don't keep these languages? And so do you run into that sometime with ones that are just like, okay, I'm just going to learn English, not going to, but I mean, especially the little ones, because they're growing up here in America, they're learning English,
Yes.
but they need to keep the language to speak to their parents. I can't imagine not being able to understand my mom or my dad.
No.
And a lot of them get that, so.
Yeah, that happens to me too. When I got in here, I got my 5-year-old, and then we just all excited about learning English.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what we need to do. This is our new culture. Do we need to learn it? We need to be able to communicate. And then he learned it faster than I could.
Yeah.
So he picked it up very quick.
Yeah.
And then he was doing so good, and I was still learning. And so many times he helped me, like many other, parents too, that he was the one helping me translate. And then he forgot. He forgot the language.
Wow.
He forgot the Spanish language. 5-year-old, you can, they speak a lot.
Yeah.
But he forgot. But right now he understands. He hears and he understands more than he can speak. But he learned. He lost it. Well, he's 28.
Okay, tell him he needs to learn Spanish. Tell him. Okay, my goodness, but it's a common issue. It is a very common issue. I mean, oh my goodness, I've seen it just time and time again. But I think that's so cool. So I just like I said, if you've not worked with newcomers to this country, you don't know what you're missing. You don't know what you're missing. And it's just beautiful. And I just love that y'all got this big, beautiful program here. And so I don't know when I'll be in, but I will come in and help, because I've missed it so much. We don't have hardly any Arabic speakers up here, though, because I love the Egyptian community. Have you had any from Egypt come in?
We have several years ago.
Okay.
We had a little family that came in, a husband and a wife and 2 little small children.
Yeah.
She spoke very good English, but he did not. So she made him come to class, and she helped with childcare.
Yeah.
So, we did have them, but they moved away.
Yeah.
So,
Well, their community is just exploding. I mean, in Nashville, it's huge. Up in the Smyrna, LaVern, Murfreesboro, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, they've got probably 8, 9 Coptic Christian churches. And now when it comes to the spirituality of, those are some of the most devout Christians I've ever met in my life. Now, they worship different than us, but oh my goodness, they know Jesus. And they're amazing. And that's one thing too. A lot of the Hispanic families I've worked with are they have a Catholic background, a lot of them. And but they don't necessarily practice their faith a lot. They know it, and but they need. So my husband grew up Catholic, and he grew up Catholic in the sense that they would go on special occasions. And so when we married, he was like, well, I didn't realize this, and I didn't realize this, and I didn't realize that. So you get an opportunity to do that with ones that maybe do have a background with faith, but it's more just we know it's there, but we don't really understand it. Right? Would that be the case?
Right.
Yeah.
That is right. I do also come with the same background, like my family, everybody was Catholic.
Yeah.
So with all the students coming in, I feel like this is a big opportunity, God giving to us, me being a part of the program for the past few years, 2 years now, and then just learning more and get people know more. Yeah. So I know how I feel like when people share Christ with new people, with Catholic people that has know about here that Virgin Mary is one of the intercessors of us. I was no. So you kind of need to know how to speak to them, how to come to them.
Yes.
And because I remember the same way, I was like, no, I don't want to listen to you. So it's just a way that how to share Jesus with them. And you need to be able to understand them on that level too.
I think that's beautiful because people don't realize this is what they've taught. So, you need to be able to.
This is what they have heard from years. And then it's difficult. It's difficult to speak to them and get to them. And then they will to understand
the simplicity of it. You don't. It's just Jesus.
Yes.
That is so cool. I love this, guys. I am so tickled to have you guys in here, and thank you, Lee Marie, for setting this up. This is wonderful.
I also want to say something that the ELL program also offers citizenship, and then high set.
Yeah.
And then the high set is very good. I mean, like there's so many families come in and. Kids like 17 years old and they cannot go to the schools system, so they can come to us and get the high school equivalents. Yes.
Yeah.
So they can come and take the classes. The classes are offered in Spanish for the high set, That will help them. And then also we offer the English classes.
So they can come in, get their high school equivalency, and then work on their English, and they can also work towards citizenship. That's another thing. I've done a lot of citizenship classes. Yes. And I tell my kids at school, I really, if I were teaching anything to do with civic government, I would make every one of my kids take the citizenships test because they probably couldn't pass it, and I've had a bunch of my friends from Egypt that I've worked with on this, and I've gone to some swearing in ceremonies, and it's just it's a lot of fun, and it's very exciting, and they're so excited, and it's just the neatest thing. But I love that y'all do citizenships classes, and because that's what people don't understand. They come to this country and they're like, they want to be a citizen. They want to be a citizen. Have you ever read the pledge or the thing about, swearing allegiance to your and being willing to pick? I mean, it's intense stuff, guys. I mean, this is serious stuff. And they're like, yeah. So get to know some newcomers to our country. You're going to be blown away at the beauty of their spirit and the love that they have for their families and just what they're trying to really do. Would that be a fair statement?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
For sure. What are we missing? I need to do an ad, but we've got time here. What are we missing that we haven't covered that y'all want to talk about? Make sure people know. I'll tell you what y'all think about. Let me do my ad. Y'all kind of go through and think, okay, what have we not talked about that we need to make sure that people are aware of? So let's talk about our sponsor, Veterans Motorplex. Got to get out to the races. We've been really blessed. Well, see, now it's kind of like a mixed bag. I say we've been blessed because it hasn't rained on the weekend, but we need some rain, y'all. It's getting kind of dry out there. So, but the big thing is they were able to race this weekend because we didn't have any rain. And if you want to get to the races, you've got through the end of October for sure to get to the races. We have got this cool track. It's the old Highland Rim Speedway. If you've never visited Highland Rim Speedway, you do not know what you're missing. You need to get out and check it out because it's cool and it is historic. There have been all kinds of folks that have raced on this track, historic folks that have, people that are just big names that have raced on our little old track right here in Robertson County. This is a quarter-mile high-banked asphalt bull ring. Again, racing goes through October every Saturday. You can get out there for a $40 ticket and you can get up to 8 people in, up to 6 kids and 2 adults for a $40 ticket price. It is a blast. follow them at Highland Rim Speedway. Highland Rim Speedway is the way you follow them. And that way you know everything that's going on. You'll see the banner says Veterans Motorplex. They changed the banner when they took over the racetrack many, many years ago. There's even a wonderful program. We should have talked about Bubba About Broke while Kaleb was in here because he's affiliated with that. But that's a podcast that you can – they have the link on the website I'm looking at right now. That tells you a lot about the racing community here locally. We got local favorites that'll race. It's just a good time. It's family friendly. If you've not been to the races, you're like, oh, I'm not a racing person. Oh, you'll love it. It is a blast. I went several times last year. We've got to reach out to Jerry and find out if they're going to do the big tractor trailer race this year. That was cool. That was different, but it is so much fun. Get out to the races every Saturday, weather permitting, but follow them at Highland Rim Speedway in case there's rain, something like that. If there's some kind of a rain delay, they'll let you know at that location. Highland Rim Speedway is the way you follow them, but it's Veterans Motorplex. They're up here at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier, 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. Get out to the races through October, and when you do so, let them know you turn. All right, what are we missing?
Classes on August the 1st, morning and night. We will be doing testing to see what level they fall in, because we do have 5 levels offered, an introduction and then 4 graded levels. And on August the 8th, our classes will start. So if they've never been before, if they'll come on the 1st, get tested, they'll be ready to start classes on August the 8th. Mm-hmm. And they can come morning or night, 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock, either time for testing.
Okay. And so that's the big thing, is come in and get tested. What if they just can't get there for testing and can only get there on the 8th? Is that okay?
That's okay. We'll test them when they get there.
So what if somebody comes in September and they're like, I didn't know about you. Can I join the classes, or do you tell them to wait till January?
We usually tell them to wait till January. Okay. And simply because students coming into the classroom every day is so distracting to the students and to the teacher. So we ask them, we'll let them come in through August, and after that, then we'll ask if they come back in January, and then they will also know that they will start halfway through the book. And if they want to catch up, then they'll have to catch up themselves, or they can come the next year and catch the first part of it.
Because that was a problem with us, because ours was just kind of a free-for-all. People would, sometimes, and we were always getting somebody that was brand new, and I was having to recap stuff for ones that have already covered the material. Now, the one thing, because we were unstructured, you guys have got a real structured program, that would just give them a review and things like that. But that is very distracting. When you know where you are, we've already covered this, and then you got somebody come in that has no idea. And then you have to kind of start over and kind of catch them up. And a lot of times I'd find myself staying after class working with somebody that just got there, and it'd be a late night. And so, yeah, the structure is really going to make it work much better. So I love that. So on the 1st, come and register. If you know anybody that is struggling, I mean, some of us teachers that when I get to school, if I meet I'm going to say, what about your parents? And maybe point them, because now I won't have students until that, like the first week. I won't have students on the 1st. We won't be in school yet. Right. But I'll be sure and talk to my Hispanic students and say, hey, do you have anybody in your family or anybody that might be a newcomer? Because we had some folks from Vietnam last year. I know we do have some Ukraine folks in the county now that have been refugees from the war. So, but nonetheless, but you say no new students after August, right?
That's right.
Would be the preference.
That is
right. Okay. Do you have, how many students do you, I know we're out of time here, but how many students do you usually have per session? How many do you typically get? Is there any kind of is there a cutoff?
It just varies.
Okay.
No, we put as many as we can in with the teacher.
Okay.
Sometimes that's not ideal. It may be more than she can handle.
Okay.
But hopefully we'll have a person that'll come in and say, oh, I want to help with this classroom.
Okay.
And that's a help. Okay. To the students and to the teacher.
Okay.
But we try to take everyone if we can. We hate to say no to anyone.
I know. Yeah.
But we did finally decide for this year we will say no at the end of August and have them come at then. But we will try to accommodate as many that come.
Yeah. And so if you know somebody that is in need of this, please point them to this. This is wonderful. And if you're looking for something to do, to volunteer, oh yeah, this will bless you. My husband and I did this together. Some of the best memories we've ever had has been with the English language stuff that we did. It was just the blast. And so I'm going to talk to him. We're going to see if we can't get our toe back in the water because we miss it. We miss it. It was one of the best things we've ever done. And it's just beautiful. So I can't say enough about it. Come and help them. And
I want to welcome anybody that wants to, maybe even thinking they might want to help. Just come and see our program. Come and spend some time with us, and then maybe they can help this year, be a substitute, teacher helper, and maybe next semester they can come and taking a class, yes.
And this is at the Springfield Baptist Church. Let's just reiterate that. Springfield Baptist Church, which is at 400 North Main Street here in Springfield. Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thursday nights, 6 to 8 p.m. And it begins August 1st, registration, and 8th, the registration, and then jump right into the class. So if you can help in any way, you will be so blessed. So blessed. And if you know anybody that needs this, point them to this class because it is just beautiful. I think we got it, ladies.
Thank you.
So nice to see you guys. I will see y'all.
Thank you.
We'll figure it out. But God bless you guys. Thank you for joining us. Tomorrow, Mayor Vogel will be in the house for our discussion. We'll hear from our County Mayor Billy Vogel tomorrow. You have 1100.